Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 94 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on December 28th, 2021. How was your Christmas? Man, I hope it was great. Mine was great. It was. I hope you were able to spend it with your loved ones. That's really the key. That's what it's all about. So I'm hoping that most of you were able to do that. I realize some of you probably could not, but, hopefully overall, most people could. I hope Santa brought you what you asked for. so many blessings this year. A lot to be thankful for. A lot of cool suppressed weapons, that folks have been showing off for Christmas. Some people got some really neat Christmas presents. It was awesome. And also a lot of Christmas hunting going on with silencers. I thought that was really cool. Saw a lot of stuff, a lot of activity on social media from folks doing that. I thought that was really cool too. So, if you're thinking about getting ready for hunting season next year and doing it with a silencer, I'm telling you, get started on your research now. I know we're a year out, but just trust me on this. Just at least start your research so you're kind of familiar with, the ins and outs of that type of stuff. And then maybe when you're ready, one place that might be great for you to get a silencer is Silencer Shop. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop, the most efficient and intelligent way to purchase silencers. It is, probably. They are my infrastructure of choice, really. They are what I use for a lot of the stuff I do. And there is a reason they've grown. They continue to innovate. You can use their kiosk. You do your fingerprints and photos electronically. With the new eForm 4 thing, with all the process that's getting ironed out right now, essentially you are greatly cutting down on the probability of errors in your paperwork, okay? Or should I say in your electronic documentation? No, I guess we can say that instead of paperwork now, right? It really does simplify your silencer purchasing process. There's a money-back guarantee. It's great, man. No transfer fees, no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. It is. And secondly, as always, this podcast is sponsored by Pew Science, pushing the silencer industry forward, dragging them kicking and screaming through the forest of innovation, one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating, the simplest and the most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. And you know what? It just so happens that hearing damage correlates with true human sound perception. Isn't that weird? It shouldn't be, when you really think about it, right? The suppression rate is in the section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard. Walks you through gunshot noise, sort of like Wikipedia, but shorter, abbreviated, and cooler because it's about guns. It's about silencer sound. There are 7 parts. They're all on pewscience.com for you to read. And if you haven't seen it, that's fine. I don't expect you to read the whole thing right now. Skip directly to section 5. That's a suppression rating. It lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and at the shooter's ear, and it gives you a hearing-safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which the silencers are tested, okay? Directly tied to human perception. If the rating is higher, it's going to sound better. If the rating is lower, it's going to sound louder or more harsh or less pleasing, more damaging to your ear. That's all there is to it, okay? That's all there is to it. You're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world. Section 6 of the standard contains all the reviews. They're very detailed. And I understand that they might be more detailed than you're willing to deal with. In fact, for some people, the reviews are so detailed, they get angry. They get so angry that they lose all control. And to those folks, I say, it's okay. Take my hand, and I will guide you to section 7 of the Silencer Sound Standard rankings. Simple database tool. It's a table. You can sort them. It's sortable. And when you find something you like or you find something that's interesting to you with regard to the overall results, there's a link on every row of the table, and you can click that and go back to section 6 to look at the reviews. And if you have any question about where the data came from or why it is what it is, I go to great lengths to write a comprehensive article in each review. So there should be no questions. And if there are, tech@pewscience.com is somewhere you can reach me all the time. It's really easy. I'm really easy to get a hold of, and I would love to speak with you if you have questions. Okay. So go wild. Go wild with that database tool in Section 7. It's there for you. I made it for you. Now, as always, if you are a manufacturer and you would like to use Pew Science for private testing and consulting services, since Pew Science is not only a public research cooperative, but a engineering consultancy and private test laboratory, just in case you didn't know, there's a form on the website with which you can submit your inquiry. Okay, there is. It's in the RFQ page, the request for quote. When you do that, your contact information and all the test data generated by any type of effort contracted between Pew Science and your organization, it's going to be held in strict confidence, unless, of course, you want to release it to the public, in which case Pew Science can certainly help you do that. Okay? It's the business model. It's what we do. We offer a free independent test data to the public. Sometimes we offer released contracted data to the public. And almost everything you see on pewscience.com is funded by the membership. That's right. Because you can support this podcast. You can support Pew Science. You can support all the testing that I do for you by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. And, there's other ways to contribute too. There's a donate feature on the website. You'll see donate buttons here and there at the top of the page. Every little bit helps. You can give a lot, give a little, give nothing. Okay? No pressure to join, no pressure to donate, but if you want to, it's there. And a very important thing to understand is that something you can do to support the podcast and testing and Pew Science is free, and that is spreading the word. Giving the podcast a good rating on iTunes, giving it a good rating on Spotify. Anywhere you listen to podcasts allow you to rate them, that would be great. I welcome your feedback. And if you leave some positive thoughts, that's amazing. It lets folks know overall that silencers and guns are awesome. And we move one step closer to normalizing the use of suppressive alarms. And really, if that's not the goal, what is? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Yeah. All right. This is going to be an interesting episode today, I think, just because there's interesting topics. 4 of them I have prepared for you today. 4 topics. Topic 1, Sound Signature Review 661, the Q Trash Panda on the Mark 18. Technical discussion. That's right. Per usual, we'll go into the technical discussion about this silencer. We just released this review last week, so let's talk about it. All right. Topic 2, that new build itch. Man, getting that perfect handguard, the perfect gas system, and the perfect barrel length for your preferences, it can be fun. It can be very fun, and it can also be incredibly frustrating. We'll talk about that. Topic 3, new test host selection. I bet you didn't think I was going to talk about that today, and neither did I, frankly. Big bore silencers, 46 caliber. What in tarnation? First on the agenda for that, probably 4570, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, frankly, we've been talking about it. This kind of came to a head today in some internal Pew Science discussions, so we'll talk about that. Topic 4, again, I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, okay? And I want to kind of give you folks the directive or maybe the advice or maybe the wish to move into the new year with great motivation for continued good data, learning, and industry advancement. Okay, that's the goal here. That's what the mission is. And so to all the Pew Science members, your support does mean the world. I say that a lot, and I mean it. Okay, the largest public effort to fully characterize suppressed small arms is continuing. It's unstoppable, and that's because of you. That's right. Okay, we're going to move into topic 1 at a time of 9 minutes and 24 seconds. All right. That's a good time, frankly. Get a bit of drink of water here. Okay. I had some really... Man, I worked out today, and I had a good meal post-workout, but then I had another meal. I had a dinner that was really great. I have some of the Christmas dinner leftovers, things like that, so it's pretty cool. Okay, topic 1. Topic 1, Sound Signature Review 661, the Q Trash Panda on the Mark 18. technical discussion. Yeah, let's dive into this review. God, if you were not aware, last week this review went live. It did. At this point, due to the popularity of the review, and actually the ever increasing, especially recently, popularity of Pew Science, I'm not sure how you would have missed this. But I do want to tell you, just in case it dropped last week, okay? So just in case you've been away from communication and, out on comms and you don't understand what's going on, it was released last week and it was quite popular. Continues to be quite popular. So it was released actually in tandem with the podcast episode on Wednesday morning. Yeah. In tandem with episode 93, the previous episode of the podcast. I usually don't do that. I really don't. Since it was a short week due to the holiday, I didn't really want folks to have to wait around. So I kind of said, gosh, you know what? What a good way to do this. I'll post both the podcast and the review simultaneously. That way folks can be sure to go look at it. And, I was thinking you're busy with your family, you're busy with the holidays, you might be traveling. Let me just knock it out early and it'll be better for everybody. That was my goal. My goal of releasing it early was to help people. Much like the goal of everything I do with Pew Science. Literally, the reason it exists is to help you. Like, I don't care who you are listening to this. I am trying to help you. Let me help you. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this episode. It's gonna be great. I swear to God. So yeah. If you're signed up for the newsletter, if you're signed up for the newsletter on pewscience.com, you get an email the morning that the review is released, right? If you listen to the podcast, you get a few hints. I'm about to release a review, except when I do it the same day like I did last week. And then if you're a manufacturer of a silencer for which a review is about to be released, well, I contact you ahead of time, so I can discuss the data with you. And why do I do that? Why would I contact the manufacturer of a silencer prior to releasing data on their silencer? Well, it's to make sure they understand it. So that way, if they get questions, those manufacturers and their entire team have the information they need to properly answer questions. Again, trying to help. That's all I'm doing. This is typical Pew Science practice. This now, for the record, this exact sequence, it started in March of 2020. It's December of 2021. Same thing. Nothing's changed. I do the same thing I did back then. Every review, same story. Just in case you didn't know that, there's a lot of new people listening to the podcast, especially after last week. There's so much dang web traffic, it's crazy, frankly. To quote Grantham, it's out of control. He says that about his comment sections. That's what the website analytics look like right now. It's out of control. It's the baseline level of noise has increased, meaning the traffic is not normal. It's great. It's what we like to see. Okay? So everyone listening to this that hasn't heard me speak or hasn't read a review on pewscience.com until last week, welcome. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reading. Okay? And I'm just saying all this so I want all you guys to understand how it works. There's no mystery. There's no theater. Okay? There's no Wizard of Oz stuff here, dude. There's no it's what I do. No, and nobody sees this data other than Pew Science and the manufacturer if they want to see it before it's released. Okay, if the manufacturer wants to see it, we'll set it up. I've done it before where we'll have a web meeting with the R&D team of a company, and I will step through the data with them, like line by line, if they want it. Sometimes they tell me to go pound sand, but if they want it, I'm here. Everybody gets the same treatment. Every single person in the world that makes a silencer that's reviewed on my website gets treated the exact same way. Okay? Makes sense? Cool? Okay. Unless they tell me to go pound sand, in which case we don't talk. They're just, hey, not my decision. That's their decision. Okay? Just want to make sure you guys understand reality. Okay? Reality is very important. It's what happens in the world. Okay, so that's the end of story. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right? Okay, now, something else I wanted to say. It's a relatively popular silencer, this Trash Panda. This so-called Trash Panda from Q. Q is the company. Trash Panda is the silencer name. The model designation, Trash Panda. It is definitely not the most popular silencer. You know, I don't know if you guys know that, but it's actually not even close to the most popular silencer. It's a lot of people might think it is extremely possible that it is the most popular silencer. And you know, and that's probably because of marketing and things like that. You know, that's fine. But I can tell you, as someone who actually looks at data analytics from multiple sources, I can tell you with certainty that, let me give you an example of what I'm saying. I can tell you with certainty that, for example, this silencer is nowhere near as popular as the Surefire silencers. It's not even close, dude. That's just one example. Let me put this very succinctly. Surefire silencers and Q silencers are not the same thing with market proliferation, use, or popularity. It's not the same sport. Okay, guys? So believe me when I tell you, I do understand a lot of people wanted to see the silencer tested on 556, but this is not nearly the most popular silencer. And if you could compare the difference, like in I guess use, like proliferation or popularity of the Trash Panda and the SOCOM 556 RC2, or any, for that matter, any RC2, it's a different animal, dude. Different sport. Okay, it's a different sport, and you're not going to hear this information from other people. And almost everything I tell you on this podcast, you're not going to hear from other people. Okay, because I'm speaking to you from a place of reality. All right, so I say all this because I want people to understand relative data and analysis proliferation, market reach, and general factors that may influence how many people see something, who cares about it, and just how it ranks on the overall importance of silencer industry, like performance. How important is this silencer's performance on the Mark 18 in the big picture? You know what I mean? How important is it? Who cares about it? Why do we care about this? Okay? So I just want you to think about these things. It's nothing you hear from me is in a vacuum. Okay? It's all real. So, and I want to say, look, I'm going to say something else. Before we get started technically, I'm going to segue into it. I'm going to do this delicately. For everyone who says that this silencer shouldn't have been tested on 556 because it's a 30 caliber silencer, for every one person that says that, there are like 5 people that say, I want to use a 30 caliber silencer for anything I can fit through it. Or actually, there might be 10. It might be, you know what? It might not be 5-1. It might be 10-1. Or it might be 20-1. I actually don't know. I don't know that number. I'm sure someone knows that number. I bet you some company has done that research, or companies have done that research. But I don't know what that is. But I bet it's significant. I bet it's more than 5-1. If you've been around the silencer game a long time, you will know that when someone is looking for a silencer for their AR-15, 30 caliber silencers are recommended, dude. Like a lot. Not just by a couple of people, by a lot of people. Non-trivial amount of people. So don't you come to me and say, oh, I don't know why you would test this on the Mark 18. Okay. Well, you haven't been paying attention. So that's my answer to you. Okay, pay attention to the market. You're telling me that, oh, now we're not going to test 30 caliber silencers on 5.56? Okay. Well, I got news for you, dude. Guys. We're going to, and it's going to keep happening. So buckle up. Review 661, that's right. 61st article on pewscience.com. Put that in perspective. The 61st time folks have seen me publish an article. And this is important. And this is the 94th episode of this podcast. Okay, so 94 episodes, 61 articles. What is that? That's 155 deliverables. 155 deliverables I've given to you so far. Just put it in perspective. Okay? This isn't like I didn't just do this. I didn't just start this. This is 155 deliverables on pewscience.com. This isn't new. This isn't like the manufacturer didn't just see this for the first time. No, this is 155 deliverables. Okay? What do we call that? What do we call that? We call it precedent, right? What do we call someone that reviews the data that has been published to date? We call that due diligence. Yeah? So there's precedent for what's been going on, and someone has had the opportunity to perform due diligence in their examination. Yeah? Okay. I'm just speaking reasonable facts. Cool? Okay, cool. Awesome. Now, Q Trash Panda titanium tubeless. Awesome. We all know how what it looks like. This is how Q makes a Trash Panda. They take baffles. They weld them together. They stick the silencer on a mount in the EDM apparatus, and they EDM the bore. They coat it, and they're done. I mean, I'm skipping a little bit of steps, but that's basically it. Okay, the baffles are not billet. They're not billet titanium. They're some other type of titanium manufactured. They're welded quickly. They're expediently welded. It's pretty simple, guys. They're straight cones. Blast baffle symmetric. There's small ports around the outer walls of each of the baffles. It's pretty simple. Nothing is exceedingly complex about the Trash Panda, okay? Let's not pretend that it's a complex silencer. It's not. 9 baffles. They're slanted. The bore isn't too big. It isn't too small. Okay? I've said it again and again and again. I'm going to say it again now. I don't know how many times I've said this to people on the podcast in passing. This should be no surprise. In my opinion, the Trash Panda and the rest of the rifle silencers from Q are examples of engineered design for economy, performance, manufacturing, scaling, and margin. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. This is reality for you, from me. This is me telling you reality. I'm telling you how it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, these silencers are not too heavy. They aren't the quietest on everything, but they certainly aren't the loudest, and they can be actually pretty quiet depending on what you do with them, frankly. I mean, the mount's simple, works in a simple way. Everything's simple. It's simple. It's made to be simple for a lot of reasons. What are the reasons? Economy, performance, manufacturing scaling, margin. Repeat after me. I mean, I'm trying to help you understand the totality. Okay, cool. So if you drop, here's a way to put this. I was thinking about a way to say this. If you drop me off on a desert island and I knew nothing about who designed the silencers and you showed them to me, I'd tell you an engineer designed it. I would. That's what I would say. Why? Because of what I said, because of what I just told you. All those factors. It doesn't mean they're super high performance and the best silencers. No, I'm not saying that. It means that I understand the design intent and it's clear why they are made the way they are made. It's clear to me. It's clear to me. I know why. I know everything about these silencers. All right? I know more about these silencers than some people that work for silencer companies. Let's just say that. Okay? Okay. So, you've seen the Trash Panda on Supersonic 308. You've seen that. Remember? Because that was the fourth publication from PewScience. The fourth one. Fourth article. Sound Signature Review 6.4. That's in April of 2020. I talked about that last episode. April 2020. I think it was April 30th. April 30th, 2020. Sound Signature Review 6.4. Q Trash Panda 308. Bolt action. That's right. Precedent. And if you do your due diligence, you can find that precedent. Yeah? You can. And so PewScience already understood the supersonic rifle cartridge performance of the Trash Panda. And everybody else, including the manufacturer and the designer, did too. You understand? Think about what I'm telling you. It's going on 2 years of data publication, right? Well, not quite 2 years, because it'll be 2 years in April of 2022. Then it'll be 2 years that article has been public. So we're a few months away from 2 years of a publication in the public domain. Yeah? I mean, I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you, but I could tell you how many people have seen the article, because we have that technology. And it's a lot. Okay? It's a lot of people. So we actually know where they live. We know where they're located when they read it too. We can do that. That's also really easy. We have the technology. So just in case you were wondering about how web analytics work, it's easy. So the performance was well known. Nobody that shot this silencer on a 308, including the people who made it, raised any concerns about the conclusions, any concerns about the data, any concerns about the analysis, nothing. There was no concerns, nothing. So for 2 years, almost 2 years, something was published publicly on the internet for the entire world to see. And to this day, there has been no data or analysis to contradict what's shown in Sound Signature Review 6.4. With regard to how the silencer sounds compared to other silencers on the platform and how the silencer behaves. Right? There's been nothing. Zero, dude. 0.0 things. Zero. Nothing. Goose egg. Okay? So, in that article from April of 2020, on a 20-inch barrel, that Trash Panda, it got a 33 suppression rating at the ear and a 15.8 at the muzzle. Not the loudest compact silencer on a 308 bolt gun, but certainly not the quietest compact silencer on a 308 bolt gun, right? No surprise. You guys knew it. Everybody knows it. If you haven't shot it on a 308 bolt gun, and if you haven't read the review, go back and read it. It's there, dude. It's there. It's been there. It's there. It's been there for almost 2 years. I'm not going to delete it. It's right there. It's been there. It's part of the Silencer Sound Standard. That's the SSS.6.4 Silencer Sound Standard, Section 6, Subsection 4. It's written like a standard because it is. It is one. Now, I'm going to drink water 1 second. So, now then, on December 22nd, 2021, I published a test report with the same silencer tested on the AR-15, guys. Same silencer, Trash Panda, Q-Trash Panda, same silencer, AR-15, specifically the Mark 18 AR-15, 10.3-inch barrel, 5.56 NATO instead of 308. This is par for the course. If you're just joining us, guys, this is par for the course. I did the exact same thing I did with the Rugged Razor, right? Same thing. The Rugged Razor was first shown on 308, and then it was shown on the Mark 18. So the Trash Panda was shown on 308, and now it's shown on the Mark 18. Yeah? And you know what you even have that you might not even realize? You know you guys have Half Nelson data on Subsonic 300 Blackout. The Half Nelson's very similar to the Trash Panda. Different silencer, but it's sort of close. But, you know, for completeness, I'll do the Trash Panda on Subsonic 300 Blackout if you really want me to. If you really want me to do the Trash Panda on Subsonic 300 Blackout, I can certainly do that for you. I can certainly do that. Do we need to right now? I don't think we do right now. Okay? I really don't. But if you insist, I will. Okay? See where this is going? Okay, cool. So what did we learn? And sorry if I'm building this slowly from a cold start. I want this to be one of the clearest, most, I guess, I don't want there, let me use another word. I want this description during this podcast to be unambiguous for you. I want this to be unambiguous. Okay? I want it to be clear. So there's no doubt and speculation about what I'm saying. I want it to be clear for you. I write very clearly. There's no mystery. Okay? So let's talk about physics now with the Trash Panda. What did we learn back in 6.4? Review 6.4. What did we learn? In April of 2020, what did we learn? We learned about a huge shock load immediately out of the silencer on a 20-inch 308. That's what we learned. How did we learn it? We looked at the data, didn't we, in early time? Go back and look at it if you forgot. Go back and look at it. It's on the website, review 6.4. Cool. Now, okay, I'm going to pull up the new review. That's right, pewscience.com. Cool. Member area, click, 661. Boom, got it. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. So, now go to review 661. Q-Trash Panda, Mark 18. Scroll down to Figure 1. Figure 1A, Figure 1B. Now look at Figure 1B. The blue, the black and the blue. The black and the blue, the shot 1 and shot 2. Early time, Figure 1B, pressure space. That Figure 1B should not be surprising at all to anyone who has been reading these articles or has been looking at the previous data or understands how the Trash Panda works. There's a huge shock right away. The silencer does not trap gas as well as some other silencers. This is not surprising on the Mark 18. Certainly a completely different early time pressure history than the dedicated 5.56 bore silencers. I mean, certainly different than the ones you've seen from Pew Science so far, right? I mean, now the OSS and KGM silencers notwithstanding, that's a special case due to venting it, and that's clearly captured in the early time. But look at the traditional silencers. Excuse me. Or should I say pseudo-traditional silencers? Look at the Surefire SOCOM 5.56 RC2 and the Silencer Co. Saker. Look at those two. Look at the early time gas jetting for those two silencers. What do you see? Delayed gas jetting, guys. You don't see the same type of jetting. It's delayed. Why? Different bore. There's a lot of reasons why, but the bore is the biggest one. Now look at the Trash Panda and go look at the Rugged Razor again if you forgot. I mean, it was a recent publication. If you look at the Rugged Razor and then look at the Trash Panda, look, what do you see? You see the same dang thing in the Mark 18 data for the Trash Panda as you saw in the 308 data for the Trash Panda back in April of 2020. Fingerprint is what you see. Fingerprint. This is the silencer's fingerprint. You can't fake it. You can't fudge it. This is physics. This is it. This is testing. This is Pew Science. This is Pew Science. Okay, so this is so consistent. It's simple. That's not even moving past the first millisecond of the gunshot, dude. We already know the data makes sense, and it's cool, right? This should reassure you, frankly. Turns out, when you do it correctly, the data speaks for itself. Speaks for itself. I said this last time. The totality of the data pedigree is public. The totality is consistent. Nothing can take that away from you. It can't take it away from me. It can't take it away from Pew Science, from the public. This is all, okay? It's all on the website. It's all there, dude. It's all there, okay? Okay, cool. So now we've what have we talked about so far? Super simple things. Yeah. We've talked about super simple things. And you should already know. You should already know that this stuff happens. We've talked about it ad nauseum now, and now you understand what to look for in the early time features of a silencer pressure waveform. You should all be experts almost now. You're like, oh my God, you can't fool me. I know exactly what that silencer is doing. I'd be like, yes, you do. You do know. Because you want to learn and you're a smart person. Thank you. You're doing your due diligence. That's good. Now, that stuff's not surprising. But it's super neat. It's super neat that we see some of it, and it really is useful for understanding how this type of silencer behaves with 556. Okay, and I want you to, and now this is like something that is really crazy, and it seems simple, like when you talk about it later, but at first you're like, what? It's crazy. Go down to figure 2. Go down to figure 2. Figure 2A, figure 2B. All right. There is a method to my madness, my friends. Now, figure 2A and figure 2B, this is where you should be like, dude, what the heck? What in tarnation? You know, and to that I say, friend, indeed. What in tarnation, indeed. What you are seeing in figure 2, and for the record, I did talk about this in the article, so read it if you forgot. What you are seeing in figure 2 is uncontrolled secondary burning on a 556 SBR through a silencer. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing what happens when gas gets super erratic due to the cartridge not burning correctly and the silencer being unable to deal with it. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the trash panda get overwhelmed. That's what overwhelming a silencer looks like in impulse space. Turns out, pictures are good. Pictures of data are good because it shows you physics. Without them, it would be almost impossible to see this, wouldn't it? Without a high-speed camera. Why don't you use a high-speed camera in Schlieren imaging? That could help you too. But this puts numbers to it, doesn't it? So it's even more valuable. And I've talked about this before, how this data can actually be more valuable than a high-speed camera in Schlieren. Why? It's because we're quantifying things. That's why. So, first you see shot 1. It's black. It's the same color in every review. We do that on purpose. That's first round pop, my friends. That's the first round. Fine. Typical. And actually this is, here's a little tidbit for you. Typical Q first round pop with an intermediate cartridge, frankly. High volume silencer. It's a high volume silencer. There's a lot of air in it. Okay? When you use a smaller cartridge, so you have less amplitude and you have more granularity in the gas flow dynamics, in the totality of the gas flow dynamics, you're getting large first round pop impulse. I mean, intermediate cartridge, a lot of air, 300 blackout or 556. It's going to do that to a Q silencer every time, dude. We've seen it. And these, at least the short Q silencers, and that's a fingerprint. Okay, that's another part of the fingerprint of these silencers. You can't fake it. You can't hide it. Is another way. Saying you can't fake something is one way to say it. Another better way to say it is you can't hide it. You can't hide. You can't hide from real data analysis. You can't hide it. No matter what you try, if for some reason we got a silencer and it was doctored in a way, then something else would show up and we'd be like, oh, that's weird. Why is the silencer doing that? You can't hide it. I don't know if you know this. You know that silencer companies used to be able to hide things. They did. They would send a silencer that had a tighter bore so it would test better. Not to Pew Science, to other companies, to other people. They would do that. But what would we see if someone did that with Pew Science? Well, silencer would behave completely differently. And then we'd be like, that's interesting. Then we'd tell everybody about it. And then a consumer would buy one and it would not behave like that. And we'd be like, that's weird. And then we'd test another one off the shelf and it would be different. They'd be like, whoa, these two silencers are completely different. And then the company would be found out, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? You can't hide from this. So don't try. Okay? I'll know. I'll know. And then the public will know. So don't try. And I mean, it's not good to lie. Don't lie. Lying's bad. Okay? Lying's bad. You don't want to lie because you'll never recover. Okay. So after first round pop, in which we know how first round pop works, it's relatively simple. What happens after it? Shot 2 and shot 3. And for those of you who want colors instead of numbers, that's the blue and the red. It's black, blue, red. And just so you know the order of these, it's going to be black, blue, red, green, maroonish purple, orange. That's the 6-shot sequence in an AR-15 test on pewscience.com. I know some of you might be colorblind. I'm sorry. Ordinarily I would put like a dashes and stuff, but because of the way the waveforms, it just wouldn't be readable. So I use colors. And I apologize for your possible disability in your eyesight. That's why in the zoomed in views with the shorter time scales, I label the curves with the shot designations so that, if you can't see it in the full scale curves because they're not labeled, at least you can see it on the other ones and that'll help you. Okay. I hope that helps. Now I'm getting off track. Sorry. I'm just trying to really drive home the point of everything I do to try to help everybody reading these articles. Everybody, not only the consumers, but the people who are making the silencers. It's better than you do in your companies. It's better than you're doing. No one's doing this like I'm doing it. And how do I know that? Because if you were, then we would see it. Okay. So, and if I sound like I'm getting upset, I'm not upset. I'm just confident. I'm extremely confident. Make no mistake. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Now, shot 1 happens. Oxygen supports additional combustion. We understand that? Cool. Understood. Shot 2 and shot 3, you get the blue, then you get the red. At first, the slope is a little bit shallower. Figure 2B really shows that between shot 1 and shot 2. By the way, you can see how actually in the beginning of shot 1, it's pretty steep. And then you go to shot 2 in figure 2B and the impulse is like, it kind of comes up and then it's like, but then it continues more. You're like, what's going on? How come it's mirroring shot 1 and then what happens? You got to keep burning a lot of air. It's a big silencer. It's a small cartridge. Maybe there's more air to burn. Are we just burning that much more? Like, what's going on? Does the Trash Panda need time to stabilize? Is the Trash Panda such large volume and the jetting is so high velocity? Do we just need time to stabilize it? I mean, look what happens at 31 milliseconds. In both the second and third shots at 31 milliseconds, violence, dude. Even more violent than shot 1. What's going on? It's violent. What is it specifically? What violent event is it specifically? Well, it's violent impulse accumulation. What does that mean? Well, more specifically, it's violent positive phase impulse accumulation, meaning it's getting higher in amplitude. Well, what does that mean? It means there's another event. That's what it means. And it means that event was additive. That's what it means, physically. It was forceful enough to push past the impending rarefaction from the previous events. The only explanation for something like that is extra combustion, dude. That's the only explanation for that. There's no other explanation other than someone opened a trap door and added some more fuel, right? Because we see it normalize. Like that's unburnt powder, dude. And then what happens? What happens in shot 4, shot 5, and shot 6? What happens then? In the next 3 shots? Well, I think you're out of fuel. Or at least you're out of oxygen. You're out of extra air for sure, and you've created some kind of condition in the silencer that you're not able to burn your extra propellant anymore as easily. So it's not that you're out of fuel. You're out of conditions in which the fuel can create secondary combustion. Interesting. No more extra burning. Shot 4, shot 5, shot 6. Then they lie right on top of each other. It's weird, right? Not enough air. It's weird. System settles down. It's weird. Temperature's different too. It's weird. It's weird, right? It took a while. It took a minute. It took more than the first shot, turns out. It took more than the first shot to stabilize, didn't it? Why? Why did this happen to the Trash Panda? Why? I'll tell you why. Trash Panda it tries to be quiet on this. It tries. It's not designed for it, dude. It's not. The bore's too big for the baffle design on the cartridge. There's a lot of knobs to turn, dude. You're not turning one knob. You're not like, oh, let's just change the bore size and it'll be louder. Make the bore smaller, now it'll be quieter. I mean, holistically, that's true. On average, but not necessarily in the same way, and it doesn't scale like that. There's a lot of different knobs, and when you change some knobs on certain designs, other things happen that don't occur on some others. It's not. If this was super simple, I wouldn't be doing this for you. Okay, same thing happened with the Rugged Razor, really, but the Razor's smaller. It has about half the baffles, and everything gets nested, so you don't see the difference as much. And make no mistake, the Razor is louder than the Trash Panda by every measurable metric on the Mark 18. Every measurable metric. You've seen the data. It's louder. The Rugged Razor is louder than the Trash Panda on the Mark 18, okay? And the Trash Panda really tries. It just wasn't designed for this, but it tries. Okay, the interesting thing is that the 5.56 cartridge actually lets the Trash Panda off the hook, dude. That's actually what's happening here. I mean, compared to the Trash Panda on a 308, like if you put the Trash Panda on short barrel 308, that would be a problem. Suppression rating goes up for the Trash Panda actually at the muzzle on the Mark 18 compared to 20-inch 308. We cut the barrel in half from 20-inch 308 to 10-inch 5.56, and the muzzle suppression rating went up, didn't it? Straight cone baffles do okay. The porting's there. The number of baffles is there. 9 baffles. The number of baffles, and it can certainly restrict flow, this Trash Panda. But what it can't do, it can't trap all the violence of 10.3-inch 5.56 no matter what. I bet you, well, I don't bet, I postulate that if you tighten the bore of the Trash Panda, like if you took the same baffle design, you make the bore tighter, or if you made the vent holes in the blast baffle bigger, you do even better on the Mark 18. And you have to ask yourself, you got to ask yourself, What would that do to the Trash Panda on other guns, like other intermediate cartridges like 300 Blackout? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it would do because we don't know. We don't have that case study yet. But it might not be good if you did that. So it's interesting. So you're now seeing how certain designs thrive in certain situations, and you're seeing their true limitations, aren't you? I mean, do you want this impulse accumulation like this to be erratic? Like, you don't want that, dude. I can tell you, do you want a silencer to be erratic in its behavior? Absolutely not. You want it to be consistent. You want a weapon system to be consistent. You always want consistency. You don't want this. That's not good. I don't care who you are. That's not good. If you were designing a silencer for a Mark 18 and you saw impulse waveforms like this, you'd be like, we gotta, what's going on? And then you'd see it, you'd be like, I think we should tighten the bore. Probably. I mean, if I was their engineers, that's probably what I would think. They don't have to listen to me. It's fine. They can do anything they want. So, yeah. I think you're seeing how certain designs behave on certain platforms, and you're seeing limitations. And remember the Half Nelson? Remember the Half Nelson on 300 Blackout? I gave you that review. Not too bad. Yeah, it didn't do too badly. Pretty good silencer on that. But remember the first round pop? Not great. It wasn't great, was it? There's only so much you can do with a straight cone baffle stack like Q uses, and there's only so much you can do if you want it to be truly universal. So, to that end, have they accomplished the goal? Has Q accomplished the goal? Have they accomplished the goal of a silencer that can be used on pretty much whatever you can fit through it? Because that's what the Trash Panda is marketed as. If you ask what silencer they recommend for 5.56, they say the Trash Panda. Okay, it's fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. But have they accomplished the goal though? In some ways, I think kind of. In other ways, no. Let's start with the positive. What's the if you want to talk about the argument, what are the positive attributes? What's positive? Well, there are quite a few positives, I think. 2 thread pitches for the cherry bomb mount. You get both of them with the silencer. You get 2 cherry bombs. You buy this silencer, you get 2 mounts, dude. That's not common. That's cool. Out of the box, you're putting the silencer on any 30 caliber gun or any 5.56 gun pretty much, dude, within reason, right? That's pretty good. It's pretty good. And you know what? And according to the data, according to the Half Nelson 300 Blackout data, which is similar to the Trash Panda relatively, you're going to be pretty middle of the pack to mid-high in the pack, depending on the weapon system, with regard to sound in general, right? So, to that end, from a strict performance standpoint, not the worst silencer. Then when you add up the simplicity and the weight and things like that, definitely competitive in the market overall, right? It is. It's not the best. It's not the worst. Okay? So that's my positive. That's what I'm saying about the Trash Panda that's positive. Okay? It's not too heavy. It's relatively versatile. It comes with 2 mounts. You're already ahead of the game that way. Has some good attributes. Attributes. It's weird the way you say that word. It's like you would say, I attribute that to X. Or you say, like, that's a positive attribute. That's a positive attribute. Huh. It's weird. It's weird that, like, sometimes when I hear myself say words, I'm like, why did I say it like that? Let's talk about the negative. First negative, uncoated titanium inside a big bore. Spark City, USA, my friends. Flashtown, USA, population U. If you're shooting at night or under night vision or whatever, Sparktown, USA, dude. Spark City, USA. You know this. I know this. We all know this. What's interesting about that. The physical phenomenon, the titanium, that is the leading edges of the titanium baffles, they erode. They do. They're the little particles. They erode off. They burn in the air. It's literally sparklers. You're making a sparkler, dude. I mean, it's not literally a sparkler, but does look like one. And so you got that. There's that happening. And then you also have flash from combustion outside. Think about what it does on the Mark 18, dude. Guys. Yeah. So flash from combustion plus particle erosion and burning. That's Flashtown, USA, population U. So that's one negative. It's uncoated titanium. So that's going to happen. But that's sort of but that's not a surprise. The silencer's been out a while. So you know that, dude. That's not a surprise to you. That's not inflammatory to say. That's not controversial. That's just how it is. And it's well known by everybody. Everybody in the entire silencer market that has shot one at night. So we all expect it. We all expect that if we use uncoated titanium rifle silencers at night, we're gonna get Sparky McSparks a lot, and depending on the orifice shape, size, and barrel length, and cartridge and ammunition type, we might get other flash too, independent of titanium or steel. You know that. I know that. We know that. Now, what else can happen to a trash panda? What else can happen? A lot of things can happen to a trash panda, but one thing that this is not really negative, it's actually somewhat good. It uses a heat-treated mount, heat-treated steel mount. That is a cherry bomb blast diffuser. It's a compensator muzzle brake thing. I actually don't think it does anything except be loud when you don't have the silencer on it. But when you put the silencer on it, it does diffuse the muzzle blast. And you know what else? It converts your barrel to a taper mount barrel. Really, that's what it does. It's basically a taper adapter. You torque on the cherry bomb to your gun, and then you have a taper mount onto which you can put the trash panda. And you can put the Thunder Chicken. And any silencer that has one of those so-called Plan B universal rear taper mount things that Q made to get more money because mounts are high margin. So if you want, which is fine, this is a business thing, it's fine. A lot of companies do it, not just them. Now, if you want to do that, you can. It's a pretty good idea. In concept, it's a good idea. In execution, it's a good idea. The cherry bomb, in general, I think, in concept and execution, is a good idea. It doesn't come loose easily. It provides good alignment. And very importantly, it diffuses the initial jetting right after uncorking. You get less direct impingement onto the leading edges of the first baffles. Okay, so in practicality, what does that do? What does it do in practicality? When we talk about, oh, well, it has a cherry bomb, it's fine. What does it do? What does it mean? Like, what does it really mean? Well, does it mean you can shoot the trash panda on a machine gun? What if I took the Mark 18 test house, turned it, with select fire, and I switched to automatic, and then I mag dumped through the Mark 18 there with the M193 55 grain ammunition? What if I just did that? What if I just mag dumped through the trash panda? How long would it last? Or here's another practical example, something that people ask me about all the time. Actually, what if they took the trash panda and put it on their Mark 18 for an all-day carbine course and shot 2,000 rounds through it, or 5,000 rounds through it? How would it do? Probably wouldn't shoot 5,000 rounds through it. I mean, they might. So I'm here to tell you, and I don't care what you read. But I said this in the article too. Pew Science has not evaluated that on the trash panda. I haven't done it. And there's going to be 100 people that tell you they have, and the cherry bomb blooms and stretches and gets stuck, and the trash panda blows apart. That might be true. I actually see no technical reason why it wouldn't break. I think it probably will. I don't know under what conditions it will, but it probably will break. Okay, but in the titanium silencer game, having that steel mount is a big deal, and I'm not saying it makes the trash panda bomb-proof, but it might help a little. And so then here's the takeaway, the roundabout takeaway here. When you ask the manufacturer about barrel length restrictions and firing schedule. If you don't get a real answer and they say none, just go ask someone else at the company, dude. Just ask customer support or something. I don't know what to tell you, because I guarantee you the people who designed the silencer know exactly what's going to happen to it. Trust me, they know. They know exactly, because they've probably broken them in development. So just, the people that actually designed the silencer aren't going to talk to you ever. But get something in writing from customer service. It's easy. Just email them, and then you have it in writing when they have the answer. And then when you break your silencer, send the email to them with the RMA. They're going to fix it. I'm just saying, if you want to cover your bases, but don't speculate unless you want to do the test yourself. Okay. So let me get a drink of water 1 second. How are we doing on time? We're about an hour. We're an hour in. That's way too much time on this topic. So let's kind of go ahead and sum it up. Let's see. Oh, that's what we should do. I haven't even gone through the whole review. Go ahead and scroll down to Figure 5 if you're still following along at home. Figure 5 in the review. That should be in the public review for everybody. That's the bar. That's the horizontal bar chart with like all the silencers on 556 so far on the market team on psilence.com. Yeah, go there. Figure 5. Cool. Okay, Figure 5. Sum it up. Performance compared across the current published spectrum on the Mark 18. Yeah. So what do we see? Look at this table here. Okay, 21.7 at the ear, 27.2 at the muzzle. It's quieter at the muzzle. Quieter 1 meter away from the muzzle than it is to the shooter. Well, it's reasonable to assume, since it's a 10-inch barrel and it has back pressure that's higher than the Razor. So it's quieter, but it's closer to your ear. It's higher back pressure. Okay, you get 21.7 at the ear. Okay. Reasonable, right? It's reasonable. It's about the same at the ear as the RC2. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good thing to see. So, the Trash Panda is as loud at the ear on this gun as the Surefire and the KGM. Pretty much, right? Cool, right? So, it's louder at the muzzle than the Surefire and the Saker. Interesting. About on par at the muzzle with the OSS. It's very close to the OSS of the muzzle. Interesting. Very close. The OSS is technically quieter than the Trash Panda at the muzzle and the ear. How about that? The OSS HXQD 556 is technically quieter than the Trash Panda at the muzzle and the ear on the Mark 18. Huh. That's factual. That's in that table forever because it's true. Interesting. And, and I do want to say this, and please make sure you're listening. When I say quieter, I'm saying the OSS induces less of a hearing damage load onto your ear. Okay? That's what objectively quieter means. Understand? I'm saying the OSS induces less of a hearing damage load. Pew Science members, and this is real too, and it's been on the website for a very long time now, Pew Science members who have seen the 762 OSS silencer in an in-depth member research supplement have seen what it does to your ears in the low frequency range. Okay, some people may describe the OSS as boomy. That's an adjective I hear commonly, boomy. That doesn't mean it's objectively louder. It means the signature excites your ear differently is what it means. So keep it in mind, my friends. It's very difficult for a human to understand exactly how their ear is being damaged. It's actually almost impossible in some cases. But I promise you this. If you are listening to this, you are pretty similar to about 95% of people. And that's what we are targeting with this analysis, okay? That's what it correlates with, the 95th percentile human inner ear specifically, okay? So you're going to hear people play games, and I'm here to tell you it is what it is, okay? That is correct. Is as correct as it's going to be. And until someone does a better job, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay, this is orders of magnitude. We learned that term last podcast. This is orders of magnitude more advanced than anything you've seen in the history of mankind for silencers. Okay, so One interesting thing from Figure 5, when you look at it, it's interesting how the Trash Panda is quieter than the Razor. It is. It's interesting. But it should not be surprising, right? Because remember, I said this in the article too. The Trash Panda has 9 baffles instead of 4. And the baffles are a different type, but the Trash Panda has more back pressure than the Razor. All of these things go into the behavior, and they all influence the results. And I should say, and this is very important, and this might blow your mind. It might cure some misunderstanding, or it might learn something. The Trash Panda has higher back pressure, and it has more volume than the Razor. Why would it have higher back pressure, but if it has more volume? Well, because it restricts more flow. It's not about volume. Remember we talked about that? It's about flow rate. It's 9 baffles, dude. What, you think you're going to flow more than the Razor can flow with 4? Even though it's a different baffle, you think you're going to flow more? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know how that could be true. So a lot of places for gas to get stuck in the Trash Panda, dude, compared to the Razor. So think about that. So all in all, somewhat predictable performance from the Trash Panda on the Mark 18, right? When you look at the graph, you're like, seems about right. Well, it should seem about right because it's reasonable. It's a reasonable data set. Makes sense. This is the last thing I'll say on this. One thing you're going to start to see is that some simple designs can hang with 556. At least they can hang a little better than 308 because the combustion duration is lower. There's less load. It's a different input. Silencers like the Trash Panda don't get overwhelmed in the same way as they do on 308. Okay? And another thing I think you're going to start to see is that some designs that worked really well for 308 might do a little worse relatively on 556 because relative to everything else, they thrive when the duration gets long. But what happens when you truncate the end of that pressure curve? Do they still shine? Well, they might not shine as bright. It's interesting, isn't it? You cannot scale. You cannot scale cartridge to cartridge with silencer performance. It's never worked. It's never gonna work. There are similarities. There are some things that are relatively, how should I say this? Some things hold the relative relationships between certain silencers on certain cartridges hold true in that some silencers that are quieter on 308 are also going to be quieter on 556, but not all the time. It's a different sport. And when we change the rules of the sport, sometimes the outcomes change. It's just how it is. That's physics. This is what we're learning. This is Pew Science, okay? So some silencers are going to be in the Goldilocks zone, and they're going to just be humming along, chugging along, and they do okay on 308. You put them on 556, and they do even better relatively because then they can take advantage of certain things. I mean, it's cool. And this Goldilocks zone, man, which silencers fit into it? Which cartridges inhabit their Goldilocks zones? Stay tuned and find out. Pew Science. Okay, that was a good topic, I think. I think I did that justice. I think I probably talked more intelligently about the Trash Panda than anyone else has in the history of the world. Topic 2 at a time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 8 seconds. Yeah, I spent basically an hour on the first topic. Perfect. Okay, topic 2, that new build itch. Getting that perfect handguard for an AR, dude. That perfect gas system length, that dwell time just right, the barrel length. It can be super fun, guys. It's something I love to do just as a hobbyist, as a gun guy. The AR is just, stoner, bless you. First of all, I do want to say major thanks to Bear Arms out of San Antonio. They sent me a prototype 13.7 inch 1 in 7 twist 5.56 barrel from Mostech. I guess they're working with Mostech on those prototypes. It has an intermediate length gas system, dude. The gas system's longer than mid-length, but shorter than rifle length. You feel me? Super stoked, actually, to use it. It could be cool. There's a problem, and don't be alarmed. It sucks. The only problem is so I have a Knights Armament URX 3.1 rail. I was really hoping to use, oh my God, I want to use it so badly. It's a little too long for this barrel by like just a little bit. I'm like, oh, dang it. It's 13.5 inches long, the rail. So right now I won't be able to use my Surefire RC2. I wanted to use the RC2. I did. I had a fantasy about it. I wanted to shoot. I thought about everything I was going to do. I mean, I was even going to get a magnified optic for the rifle for the upper, and I was gonna because it's 13.7. It's bigger than like my 11.5. So I was like, oh man, I'm totally gonna shoot like longer distance with this, like not super long, but like long enough. Oh man, it'd be awesome. I was like, oh, it's gonna be so fun. And then I couldn't fit the RC2 on. I was like, oh. It's a silencer I wanted to try on it, and so for now, it's not a big deal because I have some other silencers. But I'm gonna use a CGS thread adapter because I'm using that handguard. Okay, I'm using it. It's too cool. So I have this R&D work that I do with CGS. I have this thread adapter they make. It's really short, and it goes from 1/2 square shoulder to 5/8 24 25 degree taper. Oh snap! So I can use a Hyperion K. Or you know what I just thought of? Oh shizzle whizzle dizzle. You know what I could also do? I have a taper adapter that Liberty Precision Machines sent me that I can go back in the back of the Helios QD Ti. Oh, I wonder what's quieter on the 13.7, a Helios QD or a Helios DT or Hyperion K. Which one's quieter? A lot of people are waiting on Helios QD data on 5.56. I'm here to tell you again. If for those of you who are just tuning into Pew Science, if you don't remember what I went through with the Helios QD on 308, I tested it multiple times. This time there's some other stuff going on too. Believe me, I am not holding data from you. But when it's ready, you'll have it. Okay, when everything passes QA/QC, you'll have it. There's a lot of testing. It's not only the Helios QD. There's other silencers too that you actually have no earthly idea. That Mark 18 test program we did was so incredibly complex. There's actually another one coming up, and so just please be patient. And I know you're waiting, but it is what it is. But I guess what I'm getting into here is that. And just this is just some important things to understand, and this kind of builds on the Trash Panda discussion earlier. When you change combustion duration to shorter duration, the performance of a silencer is now front loaded with regard to what performance factors matter. Meaning that before, when you had to consider a very long duration event and the totality of its performance, the holistic performance, now you only get a certain load duration in which to react and do something. And if you give every silencer a shorter load, what happens? Well, the silencers that could take advantage of a really long load, or let me say that a different way, the silencers that did not get as overwhelmed with a very long load, what if their long duration response influenced the final answer more than their short duration response? You see where I'm going with this? So, what happens when you send gas in a silencer somewhere as soon as it gets in the silencer, and you do it with the silencer when the load event is short, meaning you're taking up the whole event quicker? What would happen on a silencer with like the Helios DT or Hyperion K compared to the Helios QD? Would you see a different response? Could the response flip from a long duration event? It might. It could, maybe. But we need to understand why, how, if that's real, and really what's going on. So when I tell you I'm investigating stuff, you don't just get data from me, dude. You get correct data and analysis that is meaningful. I'm not messing around with you. This isn't like, oh, let's just let me test some silencers and put them on the website. Then I get some clicks. La la la. No, dude. It's like, if I gave PewSoft to somebody, that's what they would do. Well, first they would break it. Then they would probably throw it across the room because they couldn't get it to work. Then they would like try to do something with it, and then like you wouldn't see anything from them, and they might hang themselves because they'd be so frustrated. But what I'm trying to say is that it's garbage in, garbage out. So you got to be careful what you're doing and really understand the methodology. So what I'm saying is I'm going to try Hyperion K on this thing. I'm not sure what's going to be quieter because as you change barrel length, it changes too. So you go from 20-inch 308 down to 10.3-inch 5.56. Then you go to 13.7-inch 5.56. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I am discovering so many things when you change combustion duration that I honestly don't know. For some silencers, it's super predictable. It's easy. A Trash Panda and a Razor, that's easier to understand. For me, personally. A Hyperion? I mean, or rather, a Helios QD? You guys don't even understand, like the level, the way the silencers work are not the same, dude. And it's just, it is what it is. Okay. So I'm going to get that. I put that adapter on there and test fit it. It was actually kind of cool because the Hyperion case is so light. I was like, oh, that's weird. But I kind of wanted like a dedicated bore 5.56 silencer on it because I want like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want yet. I do want to shoot it. I also want to use that handguard because it's cool. So I'm going to torque on that adapter. I'll have a Taper Connect silencer solution for now. I have a bunch of different choices of silencer to work, actually. I wonder how it would do like as a machine gun with like the Helios QD Inconel with the taper adapter. Would that be crazy? 13.7-inch intermediate gas machine gun with a URX 3.1. Ooh, that would be a cool video. Maybe I should do that. Just like with a grip pod, right? Because like it's just like what would you call this? Would you call this a recce rifle? A reconnaissance rifle? 13.7-inch? Is that a recce? I don't know what that is. Maybe. Now, that URX 3.1, I tell you what, dude. It's cool. I'm gonna use it. You install the top part of it, right? You can get it aligned perfect. You put it you put your in receiver blocks. It's really easy. And then it makes the URX 4. I hate the URX 4. The URX 3.1 is cool. It's easy to install. You put on you have to buy a custom barrel nut wrench, which I have. And you put the barrel nut on, and then you put your barrel in, all that stuff. Then you put the bottom part of the rail on after that, clips in, and then you screw it on to the top part. It's awesome. It's awesome. The rail's modular too. You can put different stuff on it. There's different panels and stuff you can add. Or you can add nothing and keep it slim. It's cool. It's a cool rail, dude. It's cool. The first time I ever used one was on an old AAC 300 blackout upper that Silencer Shop was letting me use for testing back in the early development days of PewSoft. That's right. I did some 9-inch 300 blackout AR testing with the AAC upper. And the AAC upper had the Knights 3.1, the URX 3.1. It was a Silencer Shop internal weapon that they in their inventory. And they let me borrow it for like a week or something. And I used it. I just remember that. It's awesome. So ever since then, I was like, I like this rail, dude. And yeah, so that's why now I have one for this. I wish I had the 10.75-inch rail. Dang it. Can't find it. Don't make it anymore. But I have the 13.5. I think they call it a 13, but it's really 13.5. That's the problem I have with it because, yeah. Because otherwise I'm going to need a 13.9-inch barrel or a 14-inch barrel with intermediate gas, and I don't have that. But I gracious Bear Arms, they didn't know what I was doing, so they sent me a 13.7. It's awesome. So thank you. I'm going to use it. It's going to be cool. Yeah. I also like the 3.1 because it's a little slimmer in the middle than my free float rail adapter system, the RAS, the big quad rail. But the quad rail is cool because you use the grip pod anyway, so you're like machine gun time. Yeah. URX 3.1 is more ergonomic though. So yeah, anyway. The intermediate gas. I like the concept of intermediate gas because I love short dwell time for silencer use, right? So what do we have? We have the 11.5-inch mid. So that was the longest barrel length you could have the longest gas system length you could have for 11.5. Now with this 13.7, the longest gas system length, keeping it relatively standard, is an intermediate gas. And so that's what this guy did at Bear Arms. And he sent it to me as a Christmas present. And I put it under the tree and I opened it on Christmas and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And he also sent me a gas tube and a gas block. So I'm all set for that. So yeah. So I like the concept of this because of the short dwell time. And that's kind of what my desire was, to use the 556 RC2. I love the way it flows. I love the way it sounds. I love the 556 RC2 for 556. It's one of my favorite 556 silencers. And frankly, I wanted to put it on the gun. I was super bummed when I couldn't. When I couldn't get it to fit, I was bummed when I marked it up, but all is not lost. Okay, some tricks up my sleeve, we'll see. So I'm going to post a photo. I'm going to post a photo of this monstrosity with this episode so you guys can see an example of what not to do. Okay. Let's move into topic 3 at a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 1 second. Oh, man, I'm like... It's a long episode today, guys. It's okay. It's the last episode of 2021. Get some water. May as well give it a good long one for you folks. Okay, topic 3. Oh, this is exciting, actually. This is a big deal. New test host selection. Big bore silencers. 46 caliber. Yeah. First on the agenda, 4570. I know. Let's talk about it. I know. So, this actually just happened today. Well, it's in the past week. So, R&D work actually for a Pew Science client. This is private contracted testing for a Pew Science client. This has dictated that we need a big bore host. And I usually do not speak about things like this. I can't give you any details other than that. But we do need a big bore host. And it makes sense. Well, let me say it this way. It makes no sense not to standardize. Oh, you feel me? So I'm posing the question to all of you listening, everyone in the Pew Science family. This happened this week. So this is literally real-time R&D solicitation stuff. I'm making it public. It's for the world. Okay, we need to test 46 caliber silencers, and we need a good platform for it, and at least an initial platform. And I think for the utility, the usefulness for the I guess shooters at large, I think we're gonna do 4570. I think we are. There's 458 SOCOM, stuff like that, but I think that's gonna come later. I think really, what's the most used cartridge that's of interest, and what is a good host? I think it's single shot. I think it's lever action. I think it's 4570, guys. I do. I've been thinking about it, and I think, and the client's agreeing too. I mean, right now, we've talked a little bit, but I think 4570 is it. So, some folks are saying they don't want me to go less than 18 inches because certain silencers aren't designed for that, and they're going to explode. Well, I actually don't know if that's true. I think if we go 16-inch, we'll probably be okay. I don't know. This is single shot, and it's not going to be a repeated rapid fire event, guys. I'm not going to go ham on this. This isn't a 45-7 machine gun. I'm not doing mag dumps. I think if your big bore silencer won't work with a 16-inch 4570, there might be some other issues at work, dude. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to buy the silencers. Some of them at least. And if we blow them up, well, we blow them up. And I'll let you know. But I don't know. So I'm going to tell you right now, and please listen, that there's currently an Instagram story poll going on, like right now. I posed the question, which barrel length are we going to do for 4570? I put it in the story. Now, there's a disclaimer. And I want you all to understand, I do not claim to know more than I know. I have never even used 4570. If we do this, which I think we will, I'll probably buy 2 guns, dude. I'm going to buy one for testing, and I'm going to buy one for me. Because if I now hear this and remember, never forget. If I find the coolest silencer for 4570 lever action, I am undoubtedly going to want one for myself. And believe me, I will shoot an animal with a big bore round if I have to. I will have my own lever action. It's going to be awesome. Look, I'm a firm believer in using enough gun for an animal. And if 4570 suppressed with a thermal is a fun pig gun, I'm in. I'm all in, dude. I actually saw some pigs on camera in one of my new hunting areas. I'm ready to kill them when I need to. I'm so pissed. I mean, I already fenced. Like, I did a really, really good feeder fence that I'm pretty proud of recently. A really big one. I've been reading some wildlife biologist studies on feeder pen sizes for whitetail deer and making them really big so that the deer don't feel like skittish when maybe they have to jump out. I made a really big one. Anyway, far away from that, on a wildlife camera I have placed for reconnaissance, I saw some hog activity. I'm confident they're not getting into the supplemental feed, but they are on the property, which means I will kill them. So 4570 might be cool for that with thermal. Yeah. So please give me some feedback on this. Email tech@pewscience.com. Or if you're a pro member of Pew Science, please email pro@pewscience.com. Now, also respond to the story question on the J Situation Instagram account. I don't know how long it'll be up because Instagram does allow stories to be up for 24 hours, but something else that happens when I get too many answers, it breaks and it doesn't let you answer anymore. If that happens, do not DM me the barrel lengths. Email me. Okay. I do not want those in DM. It's too much. I can't deal with it. You need to start using email. If you're a Pew Science member, email's good. Guys, I will never tell you not to DM me, but I actually don't know how I'm going to manage this. I might need to hire. Like I thought my first hire was going to be like another engineer or technician for Pew Science, but you know what I might actually need? I might actually need like an administrative assistant. Like someone who can just like do traffic control and like just take like a customer service person. Like I will answer the questions or tell them what, like, I don't want to give you incorrect technical information, but I need someone that can like, I don't know, handle like the logistics of a lot of it's getting out of control. There's so much, like it's hard for me. I can't handle it all. Like it's too much. So I'm like I try to be pretty responsive, but email is usually best because I can catalog it in search. DMs, you got to remember, DM on Instagram is really convenient for both of us. It's convenient for you. It's convenient for me. It's on my phone. But you got to remember, you have a phone, right? You carry your phone everywhere, right? Like I do too. Imagine if everyone from Pew Science was like DMing you. What would you do? It's hard, right? And now what happens if you want to come back to a message? What, you're going to search for it? How's that going to work? Well, you can't search DMs on Instagram, can you? If you could, that would be a lot better because I would use my DM inbox as a database like I use my email. But DMs don't work like that, do they? They don't. So anyway. So thank you for listening to that. Please reach out to me with regard to your thoughts on 4570, especially now if you are a hunter and you use 4570 to kill things and you use a 16-inch, please, you specifically reach out to me. If you actually use 4570 to kill things, reach out to me. Thank you. Okay. Topic 4 at a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 36 seconds. Okay, last topic. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. I'm proud of you guys, and I just want to move into this new year with great motivation, continued good data. We're going to learn so much. We're going to continue to advance the industry. I mean, your support means the world as Pew Science members. It does. And again, remember, we are continuing into 2022, the largest public effort to fully characterize suppressed small arms in the history of the world. Okay? I'm telling you, and let me get a drink of water 1 second. I'm telling you now, a lot of you probably expected me to have a different type of discussion today, but I will say, and this is probably a good way to say this, I think, the support that everyone, and when I say everyone, I do mean a non-trivial proportion of the silencer and firearms community, the support that everyone has expressed for Pew Science throughout the holidays and since the last data publication, it's overwhelming. It's heartwarming. It is what it is, frankly. And you guys are such positive folks. The feedback is so positive. It's really a great community in general. Okay, so thank you for that. And I do mean it. And just because I don't respond to something doesn't mean I don't see it. And I am saying thank you. Okay? I do mean that sincerely. It's motivating. It's motivating for me because of the work this takes, and it motivates me to continue it. And all you folks that recently joined, I have not sent you a welcome email. I haven't. I've been busy, but I will soon. So thank you. And you folks truly are pushing the industry forward, one test at a time. We're doing it together. Okay, this is the last podcast of 2021. Just a few more days left in this year. I think we've ended this year on a very good note. The power of the Pew Science Army is real. Okay, people are taking note, believe me. It's here to stay. It is. I wish all of you the best for this coming new year. Please spend it with your loved ones. Drink, eat, be merry. I will talk to you in 2022. Stay safe out there. All right? Bye.